Okay, so next type of problem is an investment type problem, right? John invests so much into an account with 10% interest rate and 100 less in an account that yields 12%. If the total annual interest is $605.10, how much did he invest in each account? All right, with this type of problem, we're going to go back to like the first problem we did. We're going to start with a formula. You got to remember the formula to be able to figure out the chart. John? I equals Prt. And if you remember, I always like to change it around and do P times R times T equals I. It just makes the chart easier to deal with if I flip it. So that's how you got to start. Principal times rate times time equals interest. Okay, so let me refresh your memory on what everything is. Capital P is the principal. It is spelled P-A-L, like principal of a school, but if you remember, it's the money you invest or the money you borrow. That's called the principal. So whatever money you invest is the principal, whatever money you borrow is the principal, right? The rate is the interest rate, could be called the annual percentage rate, but that's going to be a percent. And by the way, whenever you use a percent in a formula, what form does the percent have to be in? Right? Decimal form in formulas. Time is going to be the time in years. Interest problems always involve years. So if they tell you 18 months, what are you going to put in for the time? Don't put 18 months. You got to put it in years. 1.5 is what I would use, right? 18 months, 1.5, just do decimals. Easier to deal with. All right? They say 36 months, you got to put in 3, right? 3 years. Time is in years. And then interest. What is the interest? Well, if you're investing, it's extra money you earn for investing your money. If you're borrowing, it's extra money you have to pay for borrowing the money. All right, with all that, this allows us to get our chart, right? Because now you need a principal column, you need a rate column, you need a time column, you need an interest column, and again, I like to have an equal column. Just keeps things straight. All right, so now you got your formula, you got the basis of your chart. Next thing to do is to, John? Kind of, it's really to name the rows, right? We got 2 rows, let's name what they are. All right, John invests so much in an account with 10%, and 100 less in an account that yields, all right, we don't have a lot here, so all I'm going to say is the first account and the second account. It's about all I can say. Sometimes you'll have more. It might say John invests in a money market, and then it'll say maybe he invests in a certificate of deposit, a CD. Okay, you could say the money market, the CD. Maybe he invests in a bank. Maybe he invests in Apple stock. Okay, now you got stock in a bank, all right? In this case, just account 1, account 2. All right, so which column or what principle do we do to start filling in a column? What do you want to do first? Again, you'll do this every single time. What do we want to put into the chart first? Kyle? Okay, any problem. What do we want to fill in first? Wesley? The variables, right? We want to put the variables in first. All right, so you got to look at the question, figure out what you're looking for, and that's the column the variables are going to go in. So don't say anything yet. Look at your question and figure out, do you want the variables to go in the principal column, the rate column, the time column, or the interest column? That's the question you have to figure out. And again, it's what are they asking for? Are you looking to find the principal? Are you looking to find the rate? Are you looking to find the time? Are you looking to find the interest? All right, so in this one, you're looking to find the... Well, I got to think now, all right? These are word problems. You must be thinking. How much did he invest? Remember, the amount you invest, the amount you borrow is the principal. Therefore, we'll call the principal of the first account X and the principal of the second account Y. Question, John? Okay. All right. So again, we're doing these with systems of equations. That's why it's X and Y. We've got 6 blanks to go, and now you just start trying to figure out, do I know a blank? All right, so there's 6 of them. So start thinking, can you find a blank to fill in of those 6? So if I call on you, just give me just one blank. Just one blank. One blank. And I'm going to call on you, so make sure you're thinking. Okay. I'm confident Antonel's got a blank. Want to give me one blank, Antonel? Point 10. All right, where do you want to put it?
In the grade column.
For the first or the second? Okay, I agree. Point 10, right? Or just point 1, but point 10 is fine. So Antonel took the percent, the interest rate. He did change it to a decimal like it's got to be in any chart. And he put it in the right place with the first account. All right, good. We're good to go. I agree, point 10. Need another blank. All right, need another box to fill in. Tim, can you give me another box?
Point 12.
Where do you want to stick that?
Second rate.
Okay, rate for the second account is 0.12. I agree, 12%. Okay, we are rolling. I got 4 boxes to go. Zach, can you give me a box? Which one, first or second? Give me one box. First, all right, I agree. The time for the first is 1. Rachel, give me another box. All right, it won't always be the same. In this problem, it is. It'll tell you, hey, maybe the first count was 2 years and the second count was 5. Then it would be different. This one happens to be the same. Okay, we got 2 boxes to go. Now we'll get down to the nitty of the gritty. Adam, you want to give me a box? This is the hard part. All right, so let me pause. That's okay, Adam. So let me help you. How many of you think you have an idea what to put in one of the boxes? I'm not going to call on you, but you think you have an idea. Okay, so here's the logic. Watch. In the previous problem, we knew the last box it was in the problem. So it's fine to look in the problem to see if it says how much interest you got for the first account. So as I read, I see interest, but it's not the interest of the first account. So it doesn't tell me this number. And guess what? If it doesn't tell me this number, then how do I get this? Anybody want to give it to me? How do I get it? Yeah, just like we did that first one. Remember, what is the interest? It's the principal times the rate times the time equals the interest. So I'm going to do x times 0.10 times 1, and I get 0.1x. I'm just going to multiply them. This is exactly what we did in the first word problem. And again, how would you know to do that? Well, it doesn't tell you what the interest was of the first account. And look, we got an equation. And again, this is why I keep the equal sign in my chart, to help trigger my memory to do that. So now it's easy. What would the second one be? Yeah, 0.12y, right? Okay. Chart's done. Cool. What do you want to do after you get your chart? What's the next step? Next step. Arlette, what do you want to do next? Okay, and what do you want to use to make your equation? I agree, we got to make an equation next. Where can we get an equation from? Okay, so Arlette says, let's get an equation out of the principal column. And that's correct, because your equations always come from the columns with the, talk to me, variables in it. All right. So I like to label it. So this is a principal equation, right? And remember, all equations are going to be one of 2 types. Talk to me. What are the 2 types? Total or comparison. All right. So again, we can abbreviate. So I know I'm going to have a total or comparison. And I got to look up what in the world it says about the principal. John invests so much in an account with 10% interest rate and 100 less in an account that yields 12%. He invests so much in an account. 100 less is amount that is invested. Is 100 less a total or a comparison? All right, comparison, obviously. So we're doing a comparison equation. Okay. What's the template for comparison? The first equals the second. And this is first account, second account, right? First equals second. Quinn, what's the principal of the first account? X, right? Principal, first account, X, right? What's the principal of the second account? Y. You're just looking at your chart. And again, that's why I circle that in red. That's why I'm doing this in red. Now, don't forget, we got to deal with the comparison amount. All right, what does it say? 100 less in the 12% account. So I'm just going to write here 100 less. So therefore, how do I make the two sides equal, right? That's the point. You got to make them equal. And you got to use the 100 to make them equal. So how do you use the 100? There's two ways. You can either add 100 to the correct side or take 100 away from the correct side. It's your choice. All right? But you gotta deal with getting them equal. You get this, you're good. All right, so who wants to give me this? Let's see. Zach, have I called on you yet? I'll call on you again anyhow. What do you want to do with the 100? How are you going to make them equal? X minus 100? Perfect. That will work. Because I didn't leave a lot of room after the X, I'm going to do it the other way and add 100 to the right. Either way is fine, right? Because they're both the same thing. I either got to take away 100 from the one with the most or add 100 to the one with the least, right? Makes sense? And again, if you can't handle that, this is what you do. You make up your own thing and say, if this one has 1,000, this one has 100 less, so it's 900. How do I make 1,000 equal 900? I either add 100 to the 900 or I take away 100 from the 1,000, right? So if you can't figure out what to do, make a little example. Because everybody knows what 100 less is. Okay. That's good. We're good to go. I'm even going to circle that because that's already solved for X. Beautiful. Where's the second equation going to come from? Talk to me. Where's the second equation going to come from? Talk to me.
Interest.
All right, come on. Talk to me. Talk.
Interest.
If you hear it, talk. If you say it, you might remember it. Where's the second equation going to come from? The interest column, right? The column with the variables. All right, so we have an interest equation. And it's going to be what? Talk to me. It's going to be either a total or a comparison. Those are the two possibilities. All right. Find something that talks about the interest. Do you have any doubt whether this one's a total or a comparison? It says the total. All right. This is a total. Cool. What's the template always for the total? First plus second equals the total, right? That's always the case. First plus second equals the total. First plus second equals the total. All right, so Tim, help me out. What do I put in for the interest for the first account? Just 0.10? 0.10x, right? We're doing interest. The interest of the first is 0.1 or 0.10x, correct. All right? Leanna, what do we put in for the interest for the second account? Right, 0.12y, and the total it tells us up above, right? 60510. Okay, there's our two equations. Hard part's done. Substitution from here on out. All right, so I'm going to start working it. You can work it. You know, I mean, all we're doing is subbing. So, and you're going to use your calculator because you got decimals. And where the y is, let's see. So again, I'm going to take that green equation. I have 0.1, and where the x is, I'm going to sub in what x equals, plus 0.12y equals 605.10. And I'm going to sub in the y plus 100, right? And again, because you have decimals, just use your calculator. 0.1y plus 10 plus 1.2y equals 605.10. 0.22y equals 595.10. Divide both sides by 0.22. Calculator. Anybody have an amount for y? Rachel, what do you got? Okay, that's what I got, $2,705. Now remember, we have to ATQ, right? We have to answer the question, so let's make sure we understand what the y is. And the y is told to us that it's the principal, right, of the second account. So I need everybody to look up at me. On interest problems, the way to give an answer as to what it goes with is to associate it with its interest rate. So I will say $2,705 at the 12%. That's how I'll say that, because the second account has no meaning. It's just our label. But the 12% account is obvious. We're talking about the one with the 12% interest rate. Okay, so how do we get the other account? Well, remember, it's our circled equation. We're just going to add 100 to it, right? X equals y plus 100. So $2,805 at 10%. And there's our answers. And they all work that way. Sometimes both equations will be total equations in these. Sometimes you'll have to find the rate instead of finding the principal, but that's normally, sometimes even the time is possible that you'll have to find the time. But you do them all the same way. Start with a formula. Formula gives you your chart. Name the rows. Fill in the variable column first. Complete your chart. On these, almost all the time the interest is by multiplying the principal times rate times time. Two equations come from the variable columns. They're either going to be a total or a comparison. Got your templates, equations, solve. That is involved. Obviously, I'm not going to give you 20 of these on a test, right? But they are doable. Okay. Questions on that before I go on to the last type? And again, there are other types. That's the problem. There are variations of all these, and you'll just have to think. But I will tell you this. If this is your thoughts, word problems are impossible. There's no way I can do these. Guess what? You're right. As long as you're thinking these are impossible and there's no way I can do these, then you are going to be correct. There will be no way you can do these. And you have got to get past that and say, man, I'm going to figure it out. All right? That's what you got to think. You got to think, I'm just going to figure it out. I'm going to get it. Because you can, if you'll just hang in there. Okay, this last kind. Don't ask me why we give students problems like this. I just think because we want to drive them crazy. All right? That's my thought. I have no other reason to give you a problem like this except to drive you crazy. And right now the stupid screen is driving me crazy. Come on, go down. Go down, go down. Extend page. Gotta talk to it. Okay. So this last thing is digit problems. Students hate these. All right, they hate these.
Isn't it?
Yeah, students hate these. I don't know why. I don't think they're that
Tell
hard.
ourselves that, because that's exactly what will happen.
I know. Well, I'm just telling you, they hate them, so don't hate them. All right. These are doable if you learn what's in the blue box. The blue box is the key to these things. All right. So what we have to do is we have to represent numbers with variables. Here's the problem. So just watch the screen for a second. Let me try to get you to understand something. If I had the number, I get my pen here. If I had the number, don't write this, I'm just trying to get you to think, 59. Okay, in our number system, 59 is a 5 times 10 plus a 9 to get to 59, right? Do you add 5 and 9 to get 59? You don't. Do you multiply 5 times 9 to get 59? You don't. The only way to get 59 is do 5 times 10 plus 9. Because of that, we've got to come up with this system of variables. So what we do is we call this the tens digit, and we call the 9 the ones digit or the units digit, U. That's the key to everything. So with that in mind, tens digit is T, right? You guys already have this in your notes. The ones digit is U. How do you get the number? We'll call it it's usually called the original number. Well, what did I do right here to get 59? I took the tens digit and I multiplied it times 10 and I added to it the ones digit, right? And that's why the original number is 10t plus u. 10 times the tens digit plus the units digit. So again, watch. If I have the number 79, t would be 7, u would be 9. The only way to get 79 is to do 10 times the t digit, the tens digit, plus the ones digit. 70 plus 9, 79. And again, we usually put the 10 in the front, not in the back. So again, how do you get a value of a number? You got to go 10 times the tens digit, the t, plus the units digit to get that number. It's the only way you're going to get there. Okay. What about reversed? Well, sometimes the problem talks about the reversed number. Well, guess what? The tens digit is now the units digit, and the units digit is now the tens digit, so it's 10u plus t. Let me give you an example of this. If I had 47, t is 4, and u is 7. But if I now say, what if you reverse the numbers? Well, guess what? Now the u is in the tens place, and the t is in the ones place, and if you want to get to 74, you got to go 10 times u, or 10 times 7, plus the t, or 4, to get that 79, right? Reversed. Okay. I don't know if that all sunk in. Sometimes it does, and sometimes it doesn't. But that's the only way you're going to be able to accomplish a problem like this. So here's the point. Does the stuff in the blue box ever change? No. But if you don't know the stuff in the blue box, then you're in trouble. And the blue box is like NTV, name the variable. That's the blue box, naming the variable. So if we go by the blue box, we'll have what we need. Some problems don't involve a digits reverse number, so you don't need that part. Some do. All right. Got one example. They're all a little different, and you got to deal with them. Okay. The two equations come from the two sentences. So here's the first sentence. The sum of the digits of a two-digit number is 15. Now, before I go any further, remember, the idea is to teach you to think logically and progressively. Can someone play around with these numbers and figure out the answer? Yes. Is that the point? No. The point is for you to learn a system of equations that will solve this type of problem. Are we going to give you a very complex problem to start out with? No, because then you'll really be blown away. So we'll give you an easy one that maybe you could play with the numbers and figure it out. Well, don't do that. Learn the method, okay? So that blue box is the first equation. Okay. So remember, is the what? Talk to me. What is the is? Equal sign. All right, so I got an equal sign. Cool. And it is 15, so the 15's on the right of the equal sign. That part's easy, right? So you got an operational word. What word in that box is the operation? Sum. So we're going to do what? Add. All right, and what are you going to add?
Two numbers.
All right, so tell me what to put on the left of the plus sign. Tell me what to put on the right. Talk to me. Everybody just talk. No, talk to me.
U and T.
Right? And I'm going to go, I'm orderly, so I'm going to go T and U, right? The sum of the digits. What's the tens digit T? What's the ones digit U? Does that make sense? Okay, that's the first equation. All right, good. We'll do the second one in blank. If the digits are reversed, the number formed is 9 less than the original. That's the second equation. All right, where's the equal sign? Class, talk to me. Is. All right, so there's my equal sign. And we can either do the left or the right first. So let's finish on the right. How do you say 9 less than something? That's got to be minus 9. All right, so make sure you got a minus 9 off there. And then how do we say the original number? How do we say the original number? 10t plus u. Right? It's the only way you're going to get that original number. 10t plus u. It's got to be. It's the only way, right? How do you get 59? 10 times 5 plus 9. All right? You got to multiply the tens digit by 10 and add the units digit. Okay. Now we got to go back on the other side of the equal sign. What does it say? If the digits are reversed, the number formed. So what do I put on the left?
10U plus T.
10u plus t, right? The digits reverse number. Right? If the digits are reversed, the number formed is 9 less than the original number. Okay. Now we have the two equations. How do you finish? Right? Substitution or elimination. And then once you're done, make sure you ATQ. Why don't you finish it up? I'll be doing it up here while you're doing it at your desk. You can choose the method of your choice. But I know which way I'm going. Some people simplify the second equation first, and you can, or just work right off of it. Either way will work. You can simplify it first and then sub in, or you can just sub in. Your choice. I'm just subbing right in. But you can simplify it first. Gotta get all my variables on one side. That's a negative 9, so I'm going to add positive 9 to both sides. Whoops. That's 18 of them. Going to add negative 15 to both sides. 150 minus 9, 141 minus 15, 131, 126. Be very, very quiet. I'm hunting rabbit. Does my answer make sense? 8 and 7 equals 15. And reversed 78 is 9 less than 87. Oh, it works. Bellissimo. John.
So T is always going to be the first number no matter how you switched it, or the digits reversed it.
Yeah, because you are looking for you're always finding the original number. Okay. A reverse number just sometimes is part of the problem, sometimes not. So I did one with it so that if you get one with it, you know to use the
Do we have one of
10
those
U
now?
plus T. Yes. You don't have much, right? 15, 22, 11, 12. No originals needed for any of those word problems. And then number 10. I do want an original for 10. Okay? Gabby. What does yours say?
It has 10 in the bracket.
Is 10 in the bracket? That's fine. Then put 10 in the bracket. My notes actually have 10 in the bracket as well. So. Means my notes win.
I think you used to make this right.
Say again?
I mean, not about when you made us right. Don't give me any ideas.
Rank them so you can
Write
mark.
them. Write them.
Yes, I did. I did.
I remember that. That was
But that's because you got to pull so much out of the original. But I assume you're going to put your paper over top of the original in the book, and that's what you're going to do. Yes.
Actually, if you said when you put numbers back in, it was, I got 187.
What did you get?
187.
No, because, okay, so what do you mean put the numbers back in where? To what part?
The first equation.
Okay, well, T is 8, and U is 7. 8 plus 7 is 15. I mean, it works.
10t plus 2. For the
Okay.
original.
10 times 8 is 80, and
Oh, I
7 is 87, right?
see. 180.
So, yep, it works. It'll work if you work it. Guys, got about 6 minutes.
I go get something from Walmart.
Yes. You can use it as you want. Today's Friday, so if you want to study for something else, you can. If you want to get started, you can. Your choice. Your choice. If you need help, I'm glad to help you out. Oh, it stopped.